Good evening. I'm trying and hoping that I'm able to complete this transmission. This is the third time I tried. My computer is definitely a no-no. It's very hard to transmit the message of the hypotheses that I have. I'll start something short. According to what I've heard and read, Adam and Eve, and they talk more of Adam than Eve because it was the Eve of night that when after Adam did what he did, he got in trouble. So maybe there was no Eve, but it was for him to leave because what he had did was so wrong. Apparently, it was in Iraq, where the Garden of Eden was. Iraq, Iraq. In French it's an E, in English it's an I. Anyways, I'm throwing this around, but Adam, Adam, Adam. Who said Adam? Who said Adam? Who said Adam Hussein? Who said Adam? Adam has come back to be Saddam Hussein. And against my man because he's totally pissed. He's pissed. Maybe that's who the devil is. Maybe that's what it's all about. He came back and he was pissed and he went against every single rule that the Lord has passed. The Ten Commandments is a 10 times a 10 times a 10. It's your two stories with that one story equaling to 1,000. It's manipulated and played with in many, many ways. You see, I think Saddam Hussein and Adam were the same people. Are we reborn again? Yes, we are. I never thought we would be, but we are. We're put back again for a retry, a retrial, trial and error. That's what happened. Another story I have for you, and I have many. Some nights my mind is closed, and some nights my mind is open, and if I have friends with me, I can play and have fun. Well, on this one, it's about Moses. You see, if we say Moses, I'm English. Moses. Mo is what? Mo is a word, and is what? You see, now if we transmit this message, we try and understand this. You see, when Moses walked through the desert for the 40 days with his men, and he came up to the water, everybody got discouraged. And everybody wanted to stop and go back. They called Moses all kinds of names. So Moses had to come up with a story to keep them moving from the Pharaoh. The problem with it is the Pharaoh should have caught them. They were on their feet. They were thousands of people, and the Pharaoh was on horse. And that's wrong. Because if you go to the racetrack after the horse runs a mile, if he makes it and doesn't break his leg, what happens? The horse runs out of water. John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, all the westerns, every horse has to stop for water. There's no water in the desert. Therefore, there was no horse in the desert. And the Shom FM, the radio rock and roll song, they sing the song of the horse with no name because Pharaoh had no horse. And when he did bring back the sword with blood, there was no blood because he could never catch up to Moses because when he walked and they walked, it's just a story. Moses is, if you say it properly, it's Mo-Iz or Moses. Moses. It's from the Greeks. The Greeks are backwards. They told us a story that we would use in the future in order to regulate the understanding of the difference of what we know, because we just don't know everything, because you can't really listen to everything you hear, and you can't really listen to everything or believe what you read. So Moses told them a story to get them to keep walking so that Pharaoh never catches up to him. You see, the horses would never make it in the desert, so that can't be true, that story. It's just to make us believe more in God that it's true and it happened. Did that happen? Did the king turn into a snake? I believe so. I believe a lot of the plagues happened. The only thing I don't believe is the horses ran in the desert. Now, if you want to talk about Noah, apparently the trees that they do have near Mount Zion or around there are not good enough to build any boat at all. In fact, if they did use the trees out there, they would sink. So therefore, no. Is no. Aleph. Aleph. They all left. That's what it's about. They left. It's a story again from the Greeks. We have to use the national soup. Today is what I call national soup. You see, in the time of Jesus, who was a Jew, there wasn't enough of the national soup because things didn't exist. Canada didn't exist. The USA didn't exist. You see, it was all a story to lead up to today. Today is what's happening. 2012 is a difference between what the scientists have been looking for. The scientists can never see outside the universe, Because God blocked it. And every time the templates, what template is a formulation of something in the universe that comes towards the earth, and it hits on outside of the ninth gate, our protection, and then it wobbles and bounces all the way till it hits us. And whether it's a storm or a hurricane, whatever it is, it upsets. So what's happening now? You see this? It's a rose. God put us in a rose. He closed the rose down. He lifted us up. He moved us over. He let the big storm go, and he put us back. Sometimes he couldn't do that because it was coming in from two sides. But now, the templates, which are separated by air bubbles, and the bubbles are bursting, and they're coming in faster and faster from all sides. And the only way for God to lift us is to bury us first. So what he does is he defrosts the North Pole, and he creates, for the people who tell the truth, he creates Atlantis. So we all go underneath the water into these capsules that freeze over us, and therefore once the storm comes in, and after the storm starts to settle, he lifts the water out and he takes us back up to the ninth gate. The reason we can't do this before, because if you remove the water from the earth becomes dust and blows away. So you cannot do that. It doesn't work. What else do I know? How the egg and the sperm come together. What happens with the egg and the sperm? You see, the sperm doesn't go into the egg. It doesn't do that. Otherwise, it would break the yolk and everything would spill out. So what happens? I'm going to try and show you with my hand. Here's the egg. So what happens is the sperm hits it like right here. This part of my finger. See, it's round. So the sperm hits it and it goes inside like this. And it opens up the other way. And the sperm's inside the egg. And nothing got broken open. And everything's fine. Now if you do this properly, okay, when you do this properly, look, it's a heart. You see the heart in the middle of my hands? It's a heart. That's how it works. You see, it opened up, it was round, and it came in, it's a heart. And it turned it in, and when these knuckles were like this, it opened up its inside, it sewed it back together because everything is made of water and bubbles, and it sewed it back up, and then it went back to the egg shape. Now the sperm's inside. How did it get there? How did it get there? Do you believe my hypothesis? I have a lot of stories, and the more people ask questions about the universe being 622.6, well, I put that out in one of my videos already, what that is. There's a long combination of answers for it, and the result is it becomes equality. You can see one of my videos, or maybe I can do this again, but it's hard to do things when I'm not asking myself the question. Like the vav. The vav is a vowel. The vowels in life are very important, and so is the vav. You see, and I have this Hebrew book, and I have this Hebrew book, and I have a bag of Friskies. And why do I have all this stuff? Because everything has a different story in it. And I'm going to show you another story. That's a fleur-de-lis, okay? But if you redesign that and go and have if you take 25, 30 people and design that, the outline of the fleur-de-lis is the outline of a dove, the dove of Noah. It is also the outline of the eagle, the golden eagle. If you look at the Quebec flag, it's perfect. There's a white cross or plus sign in the center, connecting the four corners, the four fleur-de-lis, which was placed apparently by the Ten Commandments, by the feet of Jeshua. And now it's in Quebec, equaling the 50-50-50 is 200. 100% of our story, 100% of the files and dossier in the heavens is 200%. 100 and 100, but it's 200. It's not 200%, it's 100 together, it's 100% of the story, actually equaling to 300%. But there's also the story of the angel and God. Anyways, let's skip that. Let's go to something else. 4 perfect weeks in a month. Here's how it works. We have 8 months for eternity, round and round, 31 days. Why 31 days? Your story the angel understands, and then the difference between the stories is 3. 28 and 3 is 31 days. After that, we have the angel communication with God. There is no third story. There's only 2 stories. So that'll make up for the 4 months, but there's only 30 days. And we know 4 balls in baseball, the batter takes a walk. But what game are we playing? Hardball, fastball, men's league? No. For God's children, we have to look at it as if we're children, although we're adults. So what happens is when they play T-ball, because that's the first game the children learn, the easiest, when they put the T up like this. In fact, what it is it's two L's back to back. And you put the ball in the center. Laser Lipa is my Hebrew name, and that's what they use, the two L's. Anyways, there's no 7 innings in that game. There's only 6. Yet in men's ball, they see the 7th inning stretch and take me out to the ball game when you're already at the ball game. But in Little League, it's they're coming back to the ball game because there is no 7th inning. There's 7 men. I think there are 7 men. I think they get 9 pitches, and 9 pitches equals to all 3 results. Either it's going to be the 2 fouls and the strike where you're out, or it's going to be the 4 balls and the 2 foul balls that you're allowed, totaling the 9. I probably didn't say that right. I said it a little too quick. So 7 by 9 is 63. Okay. And to start the ball game off, start at 0. So anyways, my birthday is 1963. Pregnant threes, 963. I think that's apparently, according to the Newsline, that's the year that the Antichrist or Christ or Savior or Messiah was born. So this is the way I look at it. It has nothing to do with me, just my hypothesis on the story. I'm going to cut it short now. I have about 150 cassettes out there, and the more people get onto the bandwagon and start to listen and try and see the different point of view of what I have to say, the easier it's going to be for me to get this information. You see, this cap on my head, you see a little small eye, the cap would be up here. You know what I'm saying? But the Jews keep it right here. We keep the angel as close to us as possible. And to keep it that close, in order not to move it and lose it, we have to speak the truth. Because when you tell a lie, it's like walking down a path and a trail. And you'll never be able to return that trail because there's no truth to the story. So the trail has no truth, you never come home. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'd love to be able to talk more and do more. I have a lot of confidence in this. I'm being blocked by my family. They think that I'm a little crazy because I became a little bit more Jewish. I wear this. Nobody forced me. I didn't go to any school. And I can tell you all about this if you want to know. But anyways, I'm going to let you go for now. My name is Raphael Ben Laser Lipa. Just like, oh, let me go back to this. Ben Laden, did I bring that in? Ben Laden. He's an ant in a farm. He's in the den. He's hiding from everybody because he knows the truth yet. If somebody finds out that he's really telling the truth, whoever went after him, oh my God, they're in trouble. He knows the truth. But because they made him to look like a bad guy, because he protected himself, he didn't do what Saddam Hussein did. What did you ever see him do? You only heard what you think they thought he did, and they said what they wanted you to hear. But I saw through that. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. There's too much complications. There's too much procrastination. It's so easy of yes and no. Why so much procrastination? It's like Watergate. Because there ain't no gate to hold the water, so they made a book and they held it up that way. We have to hide the secrets because they get us in trouble, and everybody wants to be king at a castle. Right? Well, guess what? If I spill all my beans out, there ain't going to be no more king left. Another thing for king, if you ever look at our money, or the penny, did I tell you this story about the numbers and the penny and the moon? The moon shines, and the reason the moon shines is because it's made of nickel. There's a lot of nickel on the moon. I'm not even on the moon. It's just obvious. The only thing that really reflects in light is the nickel. The penny and the nickel together, they work they bounce off each other. The nickel reflects and the penny grows because everybody knows the penny's a ground and goes into the ground. And it's a ground. The penny and the nickel is what holds together the center of our earth, that emanates the earth, the heat, that brings up the air, the heat, the vibrations in order to go to the trees so the tree roots can drink, so the plants we put in the garden can eat. Otherwise, if we don't have any emanation from the middle of the earth, nothing will grow because everything will be squeezed, dried. Freeze-dried, squeeze-dried. I'll tell you one thing, when you take away, go and then Mars, read Mars backwards, it's stars. And Mars doesn't shine, we don't see it. The planets that shine have some sort of life. Now we're always talking, somebody asked me this question, why is Earth, something about Earth. So, well, Earth is a winner, because Earth is in the fifth gate.